I've always loved looking up at the night sky and feeling a sense of solitude. We are taught that our home, the Milky Way, is an island universe, a majestic, isolated spiral floating serenely in the vast, dark ocean of space. We see the stars as fixed points, guiding lights that have watched over humanity since we first looked up from the campfire. We trust in this stillness. We assume that while everything in the universe is in motion, our own cosmic neighborhood is relatively calm, a steady ship sailing through the void. But as I began to decode the latest streams of galactic velocity data, I realized that this image of serenity is an illusion, a beautiful, comforting lie. Our galaxy is not sailing peacefully. It is screaming through the dark. Right now, as you sit here, the entire Milky Way, every star you see, every planet, every dream we've ever had is being dragged. We are accelerating at over 2.2 million kilometers per hour toward a destination that should not exist. At first, I thought it was just the gravity of our neighboring galaxies. The Andromeda galaxy is rushing toward us after all. But the math didn't add up. The collective pull of all the galaxies we can see is simply not enough to explain the velocity at which we are falling through space. Something else is pulling us. I've spent months analyzing the deep space surveys trying to find the source of this gravitational anchor. It's an anomaly of such staggering scale that it defies our standard models of the universe. It's not a star, it's not a black hole, and it's not a galaxy. It is a region of space, a gravitational well that acts like a cosmic drain, dragging entire clusters of galaxies toward it. The scientific community calls it the Great Attractor, but to me, it feels like something far more ancient. It is a mystery that has been warping our path through the cosmos for hundreds of millions of years, and we are only just beginning to map its shadow. The most frustrating part of my investigation was the silence. If this object is so powerful, if it can drag millions of galaxies like leaves in a river, why can't we see it? Why is it shrouded in such absolute mystery? The answer is a cruel trick of our own position. The Great Attractor lies directly behind the zone of avoidance. This is the plane of our own Milky Way, where the sheer density of dust, gas, and stars acts like a thick, impenetrable curtain. It is like trying to see a candle on the other side of a sandstorm while standing inside the storm itself. I felt a sense of vertigo when I realized this. The very home we live in, the stars that provide our light and our history, are the same things that blind us. We are trapped behind a wall of our own creation, staring at the effect of an invisible giant while its cause remains hidden in the dark. But science has a way of seeing through the noise. By using infrared X-ray and radio waves, we have begun to peel back the curtain. And what we are seeing is changing everything we thought we knew about the structure of the universe. In this investigation, I want to take you with me into the heart of the shadow. We are going to deconstruct the physics of the Great Attractor, understand the strange dark flow that is pushing the universe, and confront the possibility that our galaxy is headed toward an inevitable encounter. This isn't just a story about stars and gravity. It's a story about the unseen architecture of the universe, the invisible threads that connect us all, and the final destiny of our cosmic neighborhood. Prepare yourself. We are going to look into the drain of the cosmos. I am Tann, and this is Y Zone 360. I've always found it ironic that the very thing that gives us our identity, the Milky Way, is the same thing that blinds us. When you look up at the night sky, you see the Milky Way as like a silver band of light stretching across the sky. But from our perspective, sitting inside that spiral, we are effectively looking out through the edge of a plate. The zone of avoidance is a term that haunted early 20th century astronomers. It is a strip of the sky about 20% of the entire celestial sphere where our telescope simply couldn't see. It was a blind spot, a dead zone. I've spent weeks visualizing this on digital models. The sheer density of stars, gas, and dark dust in the center of our galaxy acts like a massive, impenetrable wall. It blocks the visible light from everything behind it. For decades, we had this massive gaping hole in our map of the universe, a place where we knew galaxies should be but couldn't verify. It's like trying to see a candle flame on the other side of a thick swirling sandstorm while you're standing in the middle of it. The wind howls, the sand blinds you, and you are left to wonder what or who is on the other side. But science doesn't accept "I can't see" as an answer. I began to explore the tools that allowed us to finally tear down this curtain. We learned that while visible light is blocked by dust, other wavelengths like infrared and X-rays have the power to penetrate. They can slip through the gaps in the dust particles, carrying with them the light of the hidden universe. Using infrared telescopes, I saw the veil lift, and what lay behind it was not empty space. It was a chaos of galaxies. Hundreds, thousands of them moving in a synchronized, terrifying dance. The most prominent discovery was the Norma cluster. It is a massive gravitational titan, a gathering of galaxies so dense it felt like a celestial collision. As I looked at the X-ray data, I saw something that explained the Great Attractor. These clusters weren't just sitting there, they were the anchor, the invisible giant that was pulling our entire galaxy toward it. There is a strange psychological weight to the zone of avoidance. Even now, with our infrared sensors, we only catch glimpses. We don't have the full picture. There is still a shadow in our data. I find myself obsessing over the parts of the sky we still can't map. Are there more giants back there? Are there more gravitational drains pulling our neighborhood apart? This is the investigator's burden. We find a clue, and it only leads to a darker room. The Great Attractor is not just a gravitational point. It is a reminder that the universe is built on hidden variables. We exist in a cosmic neighborhood where the most powerful forces are often the ones we haven't yet learned how to perceive. We've pulled back the curtain on the zone of avoidance, but we've only just started to understand the giant that is pulling us into the dark. Because the attractor is not just pulling us, it is part of something much larger, a structure that defines our place in the cosmic web. When I finally managed to see past the curtain of dust, I didn't find a monster, a black hole, or a single supergalaxy. I found a structure of unimaginable proportions, the Great Attractor. It is a gravitational anomaly, a point in space that is pulling us and thousands of other galaxies toward it with a force that defies our standard models. I've looked at the velocity vectors of the galaxies in our neighborhood, and the math is chilling. Everything is falling. Not randomly, not in different directions, but with a synchronized precision toward the constellation of Norma. We are effectively trapped in a cosmic drain. Think of it as a river. If you were a leaf floating on the surface, you would assume you are moving because of the wind. But if you could see the entire river, you would realize you are just a passenger being carried by a force far greater than you. We are the leaf. The Great Attractor is the river. What exactly is this attractor? For a long time, the leading theory was that it was a single supermassive structure, a concentration of dark matter so dense it warped the fabric of the universe. But as my investigation deepened, I realized the reality is more subtle. The Great Attractor isn't just a point. It is the center of the Laniakea Supercluster, a web of over 100,000 galaxies spanning 500 million light-years. I struggle to comprehend these numbers. 500 million light-years across. Light, the fastest thing in the universe, would take 500 million years to travel from one side to the other. And yet the gravity of this entire structure is so concentrated that it is dragging our own Milky Way along with everything we know towards its center. We aren't just moving, we are falling. The physics behind the Great Attractor are brutal. We aren't being pulled by a simple magnetic force, we are being pulled by the curvature of space itself. The sheer amount of mass in Laniakea is staggering, roughly 100 quadrillion times the mass of our sun. When you have that much mass in one region, space-time itself begins to buckle. It creates a gravitational well, a cosmic sinkhole that every nearby object is doomed to tumble into. I find this both terrifying and fascinating. It is the ultimate expression of gravity, the force that shaped the stars, the force that keeps us on our feet now, acting as a giant hand that is sweeping our entire galaxy into a corner of the universe. As I finished my analysis of the Great Attractor, one question remained, and it is a question that keeps even the best astrophysicists up at night. Is this really an attractor? Could it be that we aren't being pulled in? Could it be that the rest of the universe is expanding so fast, being pushed by dark energy, that we are simply being left behind in a local void? Is the attractor a destination, or are we just witnessing the empty spaces of the universe growing, pushing us together like debris in a widening stream? I don't have the answer. None of us do. The more I look at the data, the more I realize that the Great Attractor is not just a place. It's a mystery, a reminder that the universe is not just growing, it is fundamentally transforming. And if we are being pulled, we need to know what happens if we ever arrive. But to understand the force behind the pull we have to talk about the things we cannot see, the unseen threads that hold the universe together. As I stared at the data of the Great Attractor, something bothered me. The math was right, the gravity was pulling us, but the visible matter, the stars and galaxies we can see, didn't have nearly enough weight to cause that level of distortion. It's like watching a tree bend in a gale but seeing no wind. I realized then that we've been looking at the universe with a blindfold. We are only seeing the shiny, glowing part of the iceberg. The Great Attractor isn't just a gathering of galaxies, it is an anchor point for something far more elusive dark matter. I dove into the simulations of the cosmic web, and the structure that appeared was beautiful, almost terrifying. It looks like a human brain, a vast, intricate network of filaments. The galaxies we see are just the nodes in this network. Everything else, the threads that connect them, the glue that holds them together, is dark matter. It's an invisible scaffolding. It doesn't emit light, it doesn't reflect it, and we can't touch it. But it is there. I've come to understand that dark matter is the puppet master of the Great Attractor. It creates the gravity wells that drag our galaxy through the dark. It is the architect of the structure of the entire universe. But here is where the story takes a turn that keeps me awake at night. While the Great Attractor is pulling us in, there is an even more powerful force pushing everything else away. I'm talking about dark energy. It's a bizarre cosmic tug-of-war. Gravity is the architect trying to pull everything together, trying to create galaxies, clusters, and massive attractors. But dark energy is the expansionist, a mysterious force that is pushing space itself to expand faster and faster every single second. I find this conflict fascinating. We are living in a universe that is being stretched apart by dark energy, while locally we are being dragged into the gravity well of the Great Attractor. Which force will win? If the Great Attractor is strong enough, it could eventually overcome the expansion of space and pull us into a singular destiny. But if dark energy continues to accelerate, the attractor might be nothing more than a local event, a temporary eddy in a cosmic stream that is ultimately widening and thinning. There is a theory, a radical one that I've been researching for this video. What if the Great Attractor isn't a massive object at all? What if it's just a local void, a vast area of empty space with very little mass? In this scenario, we aren't being pulled toward a giant. We are being pushed by the expansion of the empty space behind us. It's like being in a crowd that suddenly starts running. You don't have to be pulled by a leader, you just have to be pushed by the people behind you. This would mean that our galaxy is simply falling into a low-density region of the universe. It's a sobering thought. It suggests that our cosmic journey is not driven by some grand central destination, but by the random shifting pressures of an expanding universe. I want to know which one it is. Is there a giant waiting for us at the end of the line, or are we just drifting through the wreckage of an expanding space? I've explored the ghost, the dust, and the invisible threads of the attractor. But to understand our final destination, we have to scale back even further. We need to talk about the Laniakea Supercluster, the true home of the Milky Way. Because when you look at the structure of Laniakea, you realize that we are just a tiny microscopic part of a grand cosmic architecture that we are only just beginning to name. Are you ready to see where our galaxy actually lives? For most of my life, I thought our address in the universe was the Milky Way. That was the limit of my map. But as I traveled along the threads of the Great Attractor, I realized that we were missing the bigger picture. In 2014, astronomers mapped the local cosmic structure, and what they found was breathtaking. They gave it a name, Laniakea, which in Hawaiian means immeasurable heaven. I remember the first time I saw the Laniakea map. It looked familiar, and for a long time I couldn't understand why. Then it hit me. It looked exactly like the neural network of a human brain. We are living inside a structure that spans 500 million light years. It contains over 100,000 galaxies, and every single one of them, including our own, is tethered to this web by invisible streams of dark matter. I've come to realize that we don't live on an island, we live in a city so large that light itself takes 500 million years to cross it. And we are just one neighborhood in this infinite, sprawling metropolis. The Laniakea Supercluster is not a static object, it is a river. In this cosmic river, galaxies are not just floating, they are flowing. They are being carried by the gravity of the Great Attractor toward a common destination. When you look at this web, you see the Great Attractor not as an object, but as a watershed, a cosmic basin, where all the streams of our local universe eventually converge. This is the beauty of the system. We aren't just drifting, we are part of a grand coordinated movement. We are traveling with thousands of other galaxies, all of us rushing through the dark, guided by the unseen architecture of the universe. I find this comforting. In a universe that often feels cold and random, Laniakea is proof of order. It shows that even at the scale of hundreds of millions of light years, there is a rhythm, there is a path. As I stand here metaphorically at the edge of Laniakea, I feel the weight of our position. We have spent our entire history trying to be the center of the universe. We thought the sun went around the earth, we thought the galaxy was static. But the truth is much more beautiful. We are part of a flow. If you could compress the lifetime of the universe, you would see that Laniakea is changing too. The filaments are stretching. The voids between the clusters are growing. The great river of our local universe is part of a much larger, darker current that we are only just beginning to map. I've realized that being a part of this web changes everything. We are not just earthlings. We are by our very nature, travelers of the cosmic web. As I looked at the maps of Laniakea, at the hundreds of thousands of galaxies flowing like a river through the dark, it was easy to feel insignificant. We are a rounding error in the cosmic equation, a blink in the eye of time. But then I look back at our own planet, I realize that we are the only part of this entire web that can actually see the web. We are the universe trying to understand itself. The galaxies don't know they are flowing. They don't know they are part of a structure spanning 500 million light years, but we do. We have measured the Great Attractor. We have mapped the zone of avoidance. We have decoded the DNA of the ancient past. For me, this doesn't make us small. It makes us the most important observers of the cosmos. I often ask myself, where does this journey lead? Are we destined to be mere passengers in this cosmic river, or can we one day steer the ship? The physics of the universe are relentless, and the fate of our galaxy is written in the language of gravity and dark energy. We cannot stop the expansion of space, and we cannot move the Great Attractor. But we don't have to. Our story is not about mastering the universe, it's about participating in it. It's about the fact that we have the curiosity to ask why. It's about the fact that we have the courage to look into the dark and call it by its name. As I bring this investigation to a close, I look at the map not as a cage, but as an invitation. There are still so many pages left in the book of the universe for us to turn. And every discovery we make, every secret we peel back from the dark, is a step closer to understanding who we are and why we are here. The Earth is not just a rock in space. It is a classroom, a laboratory, and a sanctuary. And as long as we hold on to our curiosity, we will never truly fade away. We are the bridge between the stardust of the past and the possibilities of the future. Thank you for traveling to the edge of the abyss with me. Stay curious, keep exploring.